Hey guys, Renee Funk here with the Funk Collection brokered by eXp Realty. I am so excited to sit down and share a conversation with these two awesome peeps. Cindy Rosenbloom of the Rosenbloom team and John Harrison. Thanks for sitting down and having a conversation. You two are very productive and you're hard to get to stand still for a minute to have a conversation.
Yes, we are very productive.
You're very productive.
I attribute that to Cindy mostly.
Well, I'd love for you to both take a moment and share a little bit about yourself. Cindy, would you launch us off? Talk to us about yourself and your background.
Sure, I'd be happy to. I have been selling real estate for 32 years. I have always sold real estate here in Central Florida. I was with Remax for 28 years before making the move to eXp, thanks to you, Renee, about a year and a half ago. So
it's been a year and a half.
Yes, it's been a year and a half. Sorry about that. I had it on Do Not Disturb. Lost my train of thought there. Oh, last year we did, as a team, we did just about 50 transactions, just over $20 million.
Well, I was taking a peek just to update myself as well. And it's incredible. In less than your first year, number one, you earned Icon Award designation, which is the highest honor that you can earn here at eXp Realty. And also your business in your first year increased just about 70%. That's incredible.
Yes. So I believe that having my cell phone on my signs versus it going to the office, I was able to convert more transactions. And I also ramped up a whole bunch more with my by referral only program. So we added a lot more client parties and pop-bys and all the things we do for our database.
You guys are fantastic with the way that you touch your customers. We're going to dig into that for sure today. John, share with us about yourself and a little on your background.
Sure. Graduated from the University of Florida for about 10 years since. Was in finance, data analytics, and about this time last year decided for a career change back to what I was passionate about, which has always been real estate, and got my license, met Cindy through my fiance's parents, actually. Stole them from her client base and joined her team, and starting to grow from learning so much from her, actually.
And I noticed you said fiance. You and I just shared a really fun conversation. Do you mind sharing some? Because you've had quite the journey the last 90 days.
Sure. Yeah. Well, a lot of lives have been impacted, obviously. My fiance and I were set to wed on March 27th, which we unfortunately had to postpone. But we're excited for July 25th. Hope I got those dates right, because was keeping one in the head for a long time, and now it's on to another one. So hopefully my anniversary won't screw that up too much. But it's been exciting, and just looking forward to starting my life with her and what I've been wanting to do since March, really.
I don't know about you, Cindy, but I vote for just having 2 anniversaries.
I agree. I'm
you can't go wrong, John. Just remember both dates and you'll be fine.
Got to at least do both, because then,
you'll be covered.
You'll be covered. Well, Cindy, you had touched base a little on the way that you stay in touch with your customers. And I have just been incredibly impressed. I've known you for many years, but if we look at the experiences over the last 90 days in particular, we've all faced such business adversity. Can you talk a little bit about how you navigated the last 90 days to stay productive and to continue to serve your community?
Absolutely. I think the key word there is serve, right? That was my goal. My clients have been just so fabulous to me, the way they've supported me over the years. It was my turn to support them even further, more than I normally do. So it was just thinking about, how can I do that? What can I do for them? How can I help them? We all had to learn at this distance learning, and we're trying to juggle working plus teaching our kids, plus the kids being quarantined and stay at shelter at place. And it was a big transition. So I have a real good core group of agents across the country that I talk to, and we just shared ideas and simple things like we put together a box for movies. We went and got the movie candy got them the popcorn, and then we gave them a gift card so that they could go ahead and have a movie night. Just anything we could do to make it special. We mailed out over 50 decks of cards with rules to different card games so that they could sit down and play cards with the kids, just trying to think outside of the box and how can I serve them?
You have been such an inspiration, and among the many things that I value about our relationship is the like-mindedness to collaborate at such a high level. And we owe you gratitude and thankfulness, because whenever you are trying new things like the deck of cards or the touch points you have with your customers, you're always sharing it together, which has just been very helpful, and we're grateful for that. I loved all the ideas. The one that Jeff and I put into place right away was the Amazon gift cards for the movies, and loved that you could customize those gift cards for your customers. So we were right on that, but you always have the best ideas. What do you think? Do you want to talk a little bit about when you're implementing these touch points for your customers, talk about the relationships that you're gaining by that and how much you're earning with your referral business, meaning how it's growing?
The referral business is definitely growing. Between now and July 15th, the team has 9 transactions closing. So the next 2 weeks are going to be very busy and productive. It's very gratifying as well. And it's the nice thing about working by referral is nice people refer nice people, right? So you're always working with nice people. So it's just a matter of if you serve your customers and clients, they want to refer you, and you can't be afraid to ask. And, in the beginning, I was really afraid to say, hey, listen, who do you know? But now it's just, I was at one of my Buffini seminars probably 15 years ago, and he had me, we were all in our big room, and he said, close your eyes, think of the worst realtor you've ever had a transaction with, right? So someone popped into my head, and he says, now what if your friend ended up with that agent? How would you feel? Right? And I thought, oh my God, I would hate for them to have that type of service. We all know that not all agents are created equal. So the fact that I was able to say, oh yes, you know what? I really do want to help them, because that's what I want to do. It's never about the paycheck. It's all about helping the person. And when you have that mindset, it's easy to ask for referrals.
That's such a good reminder. And if we don't ask, we can't be frustrated if we don't receive, right? I mean, we talk a lot about that in our teams, about you have to ask and not assume, because people might think, well, you're too busy, and you have to be able to reach out and not only serve the community, which you do. You are like a mayor of the town. You have that mentality that you're going to serve and you're going to provide value and come from contribution also, and it cascades out. John, I'm curious, with everything you have going on, what are you most excited about in your current business?
Growth and learning. I've barely spent a year in the industry, actually selling or buying real estate. And so I know I'm going to be able to learn so much from Cindy. And on top of that, learning from you and the other teams of the brokerage and trying to move forward as much as possible with what we can do and the economy that we're in.
Cindy, are there any tools or resources? I mean, I feel like there's a scroll that we can reference of so many tools and resources, but what tools and resources do you have as an eXp agent that are most exciting to you and the team?
Well, I think what I love most is when everyone shut down their office the next day or the 2 days afterwards. We had 400 people in a virtual auditorium. We never skipped a beat at eXp. And that's, I think, one of the things I was most grateful for. It's like, wow, there was no slowdown. I know the analogy is always made that, the other brokerages are like Blockbuster. We're like Netflix. Well, it's true. I mean, boom, we did not miss a beat. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And I love the collaboration.
I have to agree with you on that. It's been spoken many times over the last 90 days is, we fully understand and feel the gravity of the crisis that goes on in the world around us. And there were so many businesses in that mid-March time period that woke up and said, oh my goodness, how am I going to train? Oh my goodness, I have to pivot. All of the business adversity that many others felt of not understanding exactly the same type of internal operations. Right. It was added pressure and stress and to-dos on their list, where I agree with you. I mean, we woke up, it was March 13th, and while the world felt in so many ways that it was really crashing down, the one thing we weren't thinking about is internal operations of our business. That was status quo, been going on for 3 years. You've been experiencing that for, at that time, almost, a year and a few months. And so it was status quo for us, which is evident in your growth trajectory for the Rosenbloom team, because your pivot was, how do I continue to serve the customer at
Correct.
the highest level possible in what was very uncertain environment? And you did it flawlessly. You continue to do so.
And the technology made that easy. It really did. It made it easy just to continue on and think out where, find a need, fill the need. That was not a need I had to fill. It was already there. And that made it easy to do my job.
Well, and we're very grateful for that. I share that same sentiment with you. John, what about in your experience, would you share with us what resources and tools stand out to you as some of the most favorites with eXp Realty?
Cindy touched on it with the online resources. Moving out here to Winter Garden, didn't have to change brokerages or, change how far I had to drive or anything like that. And again, like Cindy said, just the connections within eXp. Once I started putting up my website, people from random cities were reaching out to me, and it was just a lot more than I've heard from any other people in brokerages of connectivity and teamwork from non-team members, but members of eXp.
Either one of you want to touch on, after we've come through the last 90 days, and we certainly have some challenges that are before us in potential ways that might change in our business. What tools or resources overall do you think are here to stay that we've picked up on over the last few months?
In my opinion, I think the way we are going to be selling real estate is going to change. It has changed, and it's changed for the better. Buyers are being a lot more diligent in their research, and we are using different tools. For instance, going with the 3D tours, right? That's critical to do that. Once you do the 3D tour, it automatically creates the floor plan for you. We're able to do 100 pictures and multiple listings. So what's happening is, instead of us showing buyers 20 to 25 homes, they're narrowing it to 3 or 4.
Yeah.
We go see 3 or 4, or sometimes just 1. And they're able to buy, and they're able to buy with confidence. We have people that are buying via FaceTime now, right? They're not even coming to the house. I'm showing the house via FaceTime, and they're buying homes. So it's just changing the way things are. I think that we have to get very creative with our marketing. I think it's critical to stage a house properly and to have those tough conversations when sellers aren't ready to sell, and say, listen, we need to do it this way, and this is why. Yeah. And the success rate has gone up. We had a new listing come on the market, and the very first person that saw it bought it that day.
Wow.
So
I couldn't agree with you more about the absolute necessity that realtors really dive into. When you're a listing agent, you have to provide every tool possible. We've always said for many, many years that your first showing as a buyer was probably going to take place online. At this point, it's probably your first 10 showings of that property are going to take place online or more, because we're seeing the same thing. The two of you are seeing that the buyers that are in the marketplace and the sellers that are in the marketplace are seriously in the marketplace. We haven't experienced the same type of, well, we're just shopping. We see everybody in the marketplace ready to make a move right now. And it's been pretty consistent over the last 90 days like that. So the agents who are marketing the way the two of you are, with every technological tour and the C360 tours, everything, you are giving the sellers a leg up.
Correct.
Which is giving them that additional exposure. And it's interesting to hear. Do you think you'll continue to do the video conferences for your showings when the customer's asking?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We want to provide every tool we can. And what we found too is, when we do this preparation, the sellers are loving that they're not having to show the house as many times. Yeah. They're going under contract quicker, and they're not having strangers walking through their home. So we will definitely continue to market this way.
We're with you 100%. And we've also implemented a few additional steps for buyer discovery. We call buyer consults buyer discovery on our team, and looking at continuing to make sure that we do video conferencing and use our tools at the preference of the customer of which video platform do you prefer? Is it FaceTime? Is it WhatsApp video? Is it Zoom? Whatever it is, doesn't matter. We have them all. And we're happy to meet them through video conferencing to start that process and really make sure that we can understand what their needs are so we can serve them at a higher level. It's really been a game changer, I think, now that the consumer is adopting those tools. So it's evident in your success in the way you serve your customers that you are implementing all of those, which is great.
Well, thank you.
How do you feel your partnership with eXp Realty, Cindy, has enhanced your business? It's been almost 18 months now. You've earned the highest award designation. You are just growing tremendously. What do you think about the partnership and how that's enhanced your business?
There's no doubt in my mind, one of the things and one of the main benefits for me coming to eXp is it makes it affordable for John to be on my team versus the fees we had to pay at Remax. It's night and day, and you're able to recruit quality agents that, you know what, in this time where things are a little bit slower, or times that are slower, they're not having to be writing a check to continue to work there, which is really nice. The fee structure and the commission structure is one of the best things I've seen in any company. And that's one of the things. And then you always love the day when you cap, right? The day you cap, it's like, yes.
Do a cap dance?
Yes, I did. I did a cap dance the other day.
We need a little gift with the cap dance. I agree with you, because once you cap, then you're at 100% commission for the remainder of the year. So right, exactly. It's a little cap dance. And then even more of a dance when you earn Icon, Miss Cindy Rosenbloom.
Yes, that was very nice. It was very nice. And the award they sent was beautiful. I was shocked. It was just absolutely beautiful. So yes, it sits on my desk.
I like the award. That's a nice tangible. I'm also quite fond of all of that stock award that they give us.
Yes.
Then there's that.
Yes. Then there's that. The stock award it's just a wonderful gift. I mean, it's just a wonderful gift. It's kind of like, I mean, yes, we earn it per se, but it's really a gift. You know, no other company does anything like that. And having that and watching the stock grow, it's really fun to watch and participate in.
Well, let's dive in more specifically to our awesome area of Orlando. Cindy, you mentioned you've been serving the Orlando community for many years. I love asking agents, what do you love most about living in Orlando? Cindy, I'd love to hear from you first.
The blue skies.
Oh,
I will tell you, we had that spell, what was it, 10 days ago, where we didn't see the blue skies for like 4 or 5 days. I had to catch myself. I was getting really cranky. And I'm like, what is going on? And I'm thinking, well, is it the COVID thing? I'm like, no, because that's been going on for a while. And then all of a sudden I realized when the sun came out that afternoon, oh my God, it's the sunshine. I love the sunshine. So yes, it definitely affects my mood. So I love living in Orlando.
It's funny you bring that up.
It rains.
What's that?
I said, we don't have a lot of days where it rains time after time. It might rain every day, but we're also seeing the blue sky every day.
You're right. I mean, we get afternoon showers. I'm originally from Michigan. And what's interesting is, you know, when you've lived in Orlando for so long, you forget what it's like to live somewhere without all of the sunshine we do. And I feel that same sentiment is if we have too many days of clouds, it changes your mood some. So I agree with you, the sunshine. And also, Cindy, I have to say, I see those posts on social media with all the awesome sunsets you get to see from your backyard.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And you know, the other thing that's fabulous about living in Orlando is year-round sports. I mean, we actually have people that move to Central Florida so that their kids can play golf all year round. They can play tennis all year round. They're basketball, rowing. I mean, who would think that we would have crew teams that we get recruited out of Orlando to Ivy League schools for crew because they can do it year round.
It's a good point. And it's right here in our backyard. It's right here in Southwest Orlando. Mm-hmm. John, so you recently made a move to Winter Garden. Talk to us about, what do you love most about living in Orlando?
Well, I grew up moving around a lot as a kid. So while I didn't have harsh winters at Lake Michigan, I got to agree with Cindy in that it's being able to be outside 12 months of the year. Atlanta and Pennsylvania, just snow was unbearable. And I just like being outdoors and being able to play sports or go on a bike ride in December and not have to put new tires on my car or anything like that. But I really love being out here in Winter Garden for sure, just because of the growth as well, that not only Winter Garden is experiencing, but all of Orlando. You just get a lot of the best of all worlds, close to the beaches, still landlocked, and being able to drive up to UF for me. I mean, there's tons of reasons that I love being here for sure.
What do you think, and I'd love to hear from both of you, what do you think is one of the most surprising elements of the Orlando lifestyle that customers who are moving here from other areas don't realize, but we know as residents and realtors?
I'll go with just not everything is Disney in Orlando. I think people kind of think that anything good is probably Disney or Disney related. Plenty of great places to eat and go out and, see that aren't Disney. That's for sure.
Cindy?
I agree with John. I mean, we have some of the most beautiful nature here between the springs and the rivers and the lakes. It's absolutely beautiful. I do think, though, one of the other things people find very surprising is that we live a very casual lifestyle. Not many places can you walk into Morton Steakhouse in your golf clothes and be served, right? I mean, so I love that we live a casual lifestyle. So even though we have the heat and humidity, which I do love as well, the fact that we can dress for it and people don't have expectations that I'm going to be wearing a suit to show property, I love that fact.
That's a really good reminder, because we obviously all dress according to the climate, and it gets a little warm in the summer, but I think it's a good point to remember is you have the flexibility to be more casual. I certainly wouldn't expect to see anybody in a suit showing properties in the summer. Good reminder. What's that, John?
More power to them if they do.
Exactly. John, what has been a surprise for you as you've transitioned over to Winter Garden? Cindy and I are in Windermere, and I'll tell you, I'm spending more and more time in Winter Garden as far as the way that downtown Winter Garden is hustle and bustle and so many cool things to do down there. The growth has been tremendous.
Yeah, it really is the growth. I mean, every time I drive by, it's either a new property or a new business, something is going up. I think I read something the past couple of months, more permits have been placed in Winter Garden than any other city in Florida. So it's just incredible the amount of growth out here. My fiance is an OBGYN. That's why we moved out here to get closer to her branch. And so I figured, okay, we're moving out in the burbs, not a lot to do out there. But once we got here, it's, no different than a few minutes outside of Orlando as far as density, that's for sure.
Yeah, downtown Winter Garden is growing so much. It's one of my favorite places to go for sure. And how about the farmers market?
Oh, so good. We need to get up on that side a little bit more. Being down here on like 29 and Summer Lake, it can get easy to get compartmentalized, but downtown Winter Garden is a great place. Underrated.
True. Absolutely. Okay, you two, I'm putting you on the hot seat. What are you most excited about with your future goals in your business?
For right now, we are very excited that we can't do our traditional client parties, but just over the weekend, John and I decided that we usually do a 4th of July barbecue. Yeah. So instead, we're doing a pie party on July 3rd to give all of our customers and clients an apple pie. So we're calling it the All-American Apple Pie Party. And we shared with them that we know that everybody has a different comfort level, that if you want to come in and have a bite to eat and have a glass of wine, that's great. But if you want to drive through and grab your pie, you can do that too, whichever you prefer. So the e-bite went out yesterday and we're getting a tremendous response. So many more people said yes than I expected.
I love that. See, and you're meeting them where they are, because you're right about that is, oh my goodness, you're touching on so many things right now. One of the things that we've talked a lot about just over the last 90 days is there's a tendency for fear to creep into your driver's seat, right? As we can allow fear in the driver's seat as realtors or any business owner and feel like it stifles us. And so some may say, well, I can't do events. I'm not going to do any, but look at your creativity and how you've just met your customer at whatever pace they are to serve them. So if you want to come in, great. And I'll just hand you a pie through a drive-through. So are they coming to your place, or where are you hosting it?
It's at our house. We have the right house for it. That's, we have the backyard. There's plenty of room to do social distancing. I don't like to call it social distancing, physical distancing. There's plenty of room to be physically distant. And so everybody can feel safe. If they want to wear a mask, they can wear a mask. If they don't, that's fine. They can just send a text. We'll walk the pie out to them, whatever they want to do. So
that's so awesome. I love that idea.
Thank you.
John,
what are you most excited about with your future business?
Well, since you threw business in there, I won't say wedding. Learning as much from Cindy as I can. It could be easy to become complacent in these, unfortunate times that we're in. And so it's really going to try to learn as much as I can. And I certainly didn't use the last 4 months to learn another language or anything like that. So really applying myself into utilizing my time better.
Well, since you're talking about learning, I'm curious, have there been any lessons that stand out to you that each of you might want to share that you've learned over the last few months?
I'll go with don't give up. I had my best man's wife listed her house, and we had financing fall through, and you feel so obligated to do the best you can for not only your clients but for your friends. I got a little disheartened, and Cindy was like, "We can get another price. Don't worry about it." And right back onto the market, and a few days later, we were able to get something even better for them. So just learning that peaks and valleys, and to just push forward, and things will work out in the end.
Growth is where it's at. Personal growth, right? Like when we're ever going through something challenging, that was one of the ways that I answered that question when someone would say, well, how are you? There were two things I've been finding myself repeat over the last 90 days. One is when someone says, how are you? I would say, unbelievable. And that's a Tom Hopkins thing I learned from Tom Hopkins, because unbelievable covers all bases. Might be good, might be challenging, might be bad. We don't know. And the other thing is, through what we faced and continue to face, is we know one thing: we're growing. We're growing as individuals, hopefully internally, and hopefully in our businesses as well.
Definitely.
Cindy, what lessons have stood out to you over the last few months? All I know is, girl, you are productive. Every time I talk, you're like, I got another listing and I have another sale and a closing. I'm like, oh my gosh, you just don't move. I'm sure you don't sit down ever.
I don't sit down. It's hard sitting here for 30 minutes so far. I wouldn't say after the last 90 days. I think the one thing that someone could have told me in the beginning of my career, I still think of it every single day, is you cannot want the transaction to close more than the buyer or the seller. You can't want it more. If they are willing to walk away over a refrigerator, they're not committed to the house. Whatever it might be, whatever that thing is, you can't want it more for them than they want it. And I think I tried too hard to kind of put things together that I thought were a good fit, that maybe I was reading the people wrong in the beginning. But yes, you can't want it more than they do.
That is very sound advice. I've never heard it phrased like that. In fact, I've not heard you mention that. Thank you for teaching me, because that's a really good advice for realtors to keep in mind. And also what that reminds me of is how important it is as realtors that it's all about the human connection. These are humans we're representing at one of the most vulnerable and stressful times in their lives. And so it's not a transaction. It's easy for us, though, to feel transactional because it's second nature. Well, you just move, right? You just pick up and move.
Just do it.
Yeah. What's the big deal? Like, John, you just moved. We have to recognize with our customers the understanding and empathy that this is a stressful time and moving is not fun. And then we have to serve them the best of the ability. So I love that thought, Cindy, about not wanting it more. You have to be able to just always listen to them and make sure you understand how you can best serve them. That's really good advice.
Well, thank you. I also think there's three things when I think about my business, there's three things that we focus on, and that's contact, care, and community. So that's my focus. How am I contacting them? Pick up the phones, write them a note, right? Video. We know that we need to be in contact with our database. Care. What can I do for you today? Right? That's where it came in, especially this time. And then community. I really do feel like John and I are trying to create a sense of community within our database. We have the same people come to our client parties. They've become friends, right? I mean, we introduce them to each other. They exchange phone numbers. I have 3 gals that they are either widowed or divorced. They exchange numbers. They go to dinner. They schedule to go to the movies before the movies shut down. So that's what we wanted to try and create, is the community.
Well, I have to say, from the outside looking in to the Rosenbloom team, you're not trying to create it, you are creating it. And I look at you very fondly as proven community builders, because you are truly going out there in your community with your customers, coming from contribution and providing value long before any thought about a sale, which goes back to what you were saying before, right? Is this has to be about the human connection and about making sure that you are there at all times. So once again, I just have to say that it's been such a joy to be in business with both of you, because I'm grateful for the collaboration and how we're here to really cascade out whatever knowledge we have. And you've lived up to that and exceeded in so many ways. So I can't tell you how much Jeff and I are grateful to be in business with you here at eXp Realty.
Well, we are grateful to be in business with you as well. Definitely. We love that we made the move.
Yay. All right. So before we wrap, you two awesome rock stars, what are your last words? What are any last advice you want to give to fellow realtors or your customers? And definitely include your contact information.
Well, I think as an agent, you have to think about 3 things in order to be productive, right? What can you delegate? What can you automate? And what can you eliminate? Those are the 3 things, right? Delegate what you can, automate what you can, and then eliminate what you can. And that way you can increase your productivity. So that would be my advice.
Love that. Great reminder.
Well, there's been a lot of great things covered in this call. I don't know if I can come up with anything new, but from my own personal experience, just hang in there. Your first time won't be your best time, and just try to get better every time, every phone call, every email, every sale, every listing. Just try to get a little bit better every time.
That's great advice, John. I mean, it's another reminder, though, is that we all, no matter where we're at in our lives, we want to be better tomorrow than we are today. That's the goal, right?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, John. And thank you, Cindy, for sharing time with me. I am so grateful. If there's anything that we can ever do to serve you, please always feel free to reach out. And before we wrap, though, both of you, please share your contact information. Where can people find you?
I'm online at johnharrison.exp on most public platforms, Instagram, Facebook. You can find me that way. Call me anytime, 404-353-9958.
And the best way to reach me is through the website, therosenbloomteam.com. That's the easiest way. It comes directly to my email, or feel free to send me a text or call me on my cell, which is 407-579-4573. So I want to thank you, Renee, for the opportunity. This was very nice. Thank you for inviting us.
Of course, I'm happy to sit down and chat with you any time. In fact, I'd love to dive into, especially since John just made a move, we should dive in and have a conversation about tips we have for moving and tips we have for buying new homes. And let's continue the conversation. You guys are just such great rock stars. Anytime you want to chat, I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Bye, guys. Make it a great day.
Bye.
Take care.